Welcome to Still Human, a bi-weekly podcast by Ocean Studio, where we explore how AI affects our time, focus, creativity, and sense of self. I'm your host, Perkin. Today, my guest is William Norden, a research engineer and ECE student at Santa Clara University who builds neural network from scratch in C, design brain-inspired chips, and has studied both artificial and biological intelligence. What makes him unusual isn't just what he builds, it's why he built it that way. William refuses to trust code he hasn't written himself. In the world where one import statement can do almost anything, he goes all the way down to the foundation every single time. In this conversation, we got into his philosophy on intelligence augmentation over replacement, what classical piano and competitive tennis actually taught him about machine learning, why he spent 5 months studying real brains before building artificial one, and what it means to become an expert in the age of AI. This one's deep. Let's get into it. What's been occupying your attention lately?
Wow.
What's been occupying you?
I'd say two things mainly.
Yeah.
One is like strategic, academic, and like career focused.
Yeah.
The impact I want to make on the world, and it's more like direction focused. The other one is mainly just inward focused, like making sure that I'm still happy and still content and actually feel good about what I'm doing as I'm doing it.
Okay.
Like, I feel like that's actually extremely important.
So it's more like mental health.
That side is more mental, like trying to keep my mental health in good condition while also striving to achieve like, everything that I want to do. And also making sure that those, like my vision of the future, the vision of the future of how I see society could be in the future, the vision of how I see where my life could be in the future is like sharp, I guess. And like, I actually have a sense of direction as opposed to just like swaying in the wind of whatever, like just being taken by the tide of the world.
100%, yeah.
And I feel like you with this podcast, you're also trying to do that.
I'm trying to, but with social media or like with AI moving so fast that sometimes it makes people really confused that am I doing the right thing or am I pursuing the right path that not going to be replaced by AI and what's going to happen in the future. Right.
I guess to go along with that, my strategy, like I see a lot of my friends and a lot of people we know, they're very good at scoping out what's being done now and targeting that like nothing else. Like I'm gonna drop out of school because I know this is what I want to do now. The way I think about it in my strategy is I want to build a deep understanding of something that I know will be applicable. Like I know this specific thing will be useful for other things in the future. I want to become the expert at that. Like
that's very smart of you.
That's my like it's a different strategy, and I guess like it pays off later. But I think that's just how I go about it.
Is there a saying called jack of all pots or jack of all trades?
Jack of all trades,
jack of all trades. With AI, it's kind of making people think that I could know everything instantly, and what's the point of actually studying something?
Exactly. But I think, and that's where, like when I try to reach a deep level of mastery in something, or try to push the cutting edge forward, like try to build something that actually hasn't really been built before. Like AI is a great tool for that, but it can't do it by itself.
100%.
Like it needs you. It really needs you. And I feel like I want to be the type of person that is that tries to push things forward as opposed to, building a bunch of things that
around what's been there.
One thing that's really interesting about that is, I just want to ask you first, how many parallel Claude instances do you use? How many Claude code do you have open when you
honestly, like, because I'm not in the max version, which like Claude, they have really expensive token, and I'm not like using every task on Claude. I use right now I use ChatGPT for a general task, and I use Gemini for deep research, and sometimes use Grok, but I only focus on Claude for the MCP.
Oh wow. I see. Yeah. That's really interesting because I feel like I know a lot of people who are like, it's a really big split right now. The industry's so strange right now. It's like I talk to some people who are deeply technical, right? Like they've been doing software engineering for 30 years, 40 years. And they're like, yeah, AI has completely changed the way I operate. Like I use it heavily, and if you're not using it, I teach all the people I'm mentoring, like this is them, right? I'm not saying this. It's like they say like all the people I mentor, I'm saying like if you don't use AI, you will fall behind because it's a new way of software engineering. And then there's other people who are saying this shit is useless. Don't use it. It's ass. Like it's trash. It's garbage. And it's so interesting because they
very
both have a ton of
bipolar.
experience. Yeah. And there's of course things in between, but just the fact that I don't know. But I see some people who are like also really experienced in software engineering, but they'll have like 10 different Claude open at the same time, all working on the same
Oh yeah.
I'm
yeah.
Because like I feel like for me, the projects I do,
It's a case in point.
Yeah.
A case in point, Maxime. Case in point.
I know he's looking at like 10 different instances, like they're all
10 agents running at the same time on the laptop. 100%.
None of them speaking English, it's all like Russian and but for me, what tends to be some wind or something.
Yeah, I fear that it's too loud. Yeah, it's okay.
But for me, I've noticed that the projects I like to do, which are like trying to dig deep into something, like I thrive perfectly well with just having one agent at a time that I'm just working with, going back and forth, that I monitor extremely closely, that I command. I don't work very well, like at least on the projects that I do, I haven't seen any gain of orchestrating 10 different agents at once. And that's just my personal, because it's like it's like the errors they make are so small, but those errors become huge down the line. I've noticed.
Yeah, I think you are more cautious on the AI usage at this point when you mentioned that.
Kind of.
Because like for people, you know, like Maxime, like might be using like 10 agents and delegating different tasks and almost feel like, you know, if I'm doing it myself, it's going to take more time and it might even have more errors, which I'm giving more trust and more authority to the agents to do the task instead of me doing this. And I could have my time on like, you know, going on meeting or like, you know, handling, orchestrating all the agents to complete a task.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's so interesting. It's almost like a gamble. It's like a career gamble. It's like, is the only like viable path forward in the future going to be how well can you orchestrate agents, or will it be, am I going to learn something deeper than AI can really learn it? It's like making a bet on how smart our agent's going to get. Like, are they going to get so good that I'm useless and basically my job is going to be orchestrating them, or it's like, are they not going to get?
It's actually so weird. I asked myself the same question again and again, and you know what the conclusion I came off with?
Combination of both for me.
Well, like something like that. But you know, sooner or later you need to know how to use it. Like you need to know how they works.
Yeah.
And how they makes you become more productive. But I feel like the goal of human being at the end of the day is to like being at the last defense to make sure everything works well and to manage the AI and then, you know, doing the human level connection, networking, interpersonal talking like this.
You know what's really interesting? I've noticed that AIs. I actually watched a video on this where this one like Cornell TA, like he's a student, but like a PhD student now, but he does TA for the hardest intro to CS class at Cornell.
Okay.
And he did like a test that says like, oh, can these AIs solve this homework problem in one shot? Like, can they pass my class basically?
Okay.
And what he notices, a lot of the very, very complicated problems, these AIs like are so good. Like they even come up with a really interesting creative solution that is more optimized than what he would have done.
That's crazy.
But then on the easy solutions, like on the solutions that are so easy but slightly different than the training data, like for example, write a program that says hello world instead of just hello world. It will say like, it will mess up that. Because usually it's just hello world. It's like, it's all based on statistical probability. So it's like when I'm working with these...
Because no one will say hello world, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like no one will say that. And it's all based on statistics. And they're incredibly intelligent. And honestly, I think like right now, the frontier of now, this is 2026, January. Now is, in my opinion, Cloud Opus 4.5.
Yeah.
I think it's...
Yeah, I'm using that, yeah. Claude.
So good.
I feel like Claude gonna win this game. Not gonna lie.
I think Google is going to win in the long run because their infrastructure is so good.
Yeah, they have so many different things working on. They're not
They're
just like,
completely vertically integrated.
yeah,
Like they have
vertically
their
integrated.
they have their TPU, which designed
yeah.
in-house, right?
Yeah,
Oh, actually, the one part of the stack that isn't integrated is TSMC.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's the only one missing. Yeah.
And that's a whole crazy situation.
Yeah.
All technology, like every chip of actual like value, like anything of that's actually like valuable now is made. All the chips are made by one company. It's crazy.
TSMC.
And there's a crazy political battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Across the world.
We're not being political on this podcast. No, not at all.
Yeah.
But
I don't have any say in that politics.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting to me that that's how the world is working.
Yeah.
It's like there are these huge things at play, and then all these amazing things like AI and technology are all stemming from that one thing. It's crazy.
I feel like the energy is gonna be the next big thing because all those AI data centers are gonna need a lot of energies.
You see the people like Microsoft making these fusion generators.
That's crazy. All right, that's a lot on the what you've been reasoning on. No, it's good. Like
a lot more. Also, it's okay to just condense everything into one.
Yeah, that's really good. Like I think we need to talk about like your story and stuff like that, and that's a really good intro. I just have a question for you. Like you've written that the world problems are extremely complex and interwoven in a vastly high-dimensional tapestry. That's not how most engineer talks. And what do you mean by that? And why does that really matter? I think this kind of related.
We're talking. Yeah. Very related.
Yeah.
It's like I think that all people are inherently good. I think all people inherently want the best for themselves, and if they can achieve that, they would want the best for others too. I think the only reason why people would be cruel or anything like that is because they feel that it's a sacrifice.
Okay.
They have to be cruel in order to make their own life.
Interesting.
And I feel like what that creates is like when the problems that people face in this world are so complicated, like I don't know, there's so much. Like you could think about like drug problems or something like that. If someone faces that comes from so much past history of our of just society in the first place. Like how did drugs even come to be, and how did they come into society like that? And like they're problems that like one individual person can't really control. And I feel like everything in this world is so connected, and the problems that stem here are also connected to the problems that stem there. And I think that my role is not to fix all of that, because it's not possible. It's too complicated. In order to even understand the problems, much less fix them, you need to have such a good understanding of the world, which I just don't have now, especially as the world is changing so fast, like you said. But I think at least the pursuit of understanding some little piece of that and contributing like goodness into that little piece is all I can do. Like for example, in AI, here's just one example. Like in AI, I'm really interested in how can we make machine learning models, deep learning models that can do things that will really help humanity, but that don't replace humanity.
With the AI?
Yeah. Like that do things that, for example, I don't want to make an AI model that can like create deep fakes. Like that's not my passion.
I feel like for companies, they might start from a good intention when they're trying to design or like come up with this AI or technology stuff, but there's like always people with bad intention trying to
it's so true.
Make it like in a bad way.
Yeah. And like I said, I think those bad intentions just come from the fact they feel like if they don't do those things, they won't be able to like feed their family or something like that.
No. I actually recently read a book. Have you heard of the book The Courage to Be Disliked?
No.
It's actually a really good book. It talks about etiology and teleology, which is like some kind of the psychology part, saying that like none of our action right now is actually related to our past, and those trauma is just the thing that you tell yourself.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, you definitely need to read that book. I probably cannot explain it really well, but
that's fine. We don't realize that the reason we feel uncomfortable when doing something is from something completely unrelated. And I feel like society now is so different than how it was when we were evolving. So like things that make us feel uncomfortable, like anxiety about am I going to be homeless? Am I going to be am I going to achieve my dreams that I want to? Am I going to get a great job? These are all different things. Like, am I going to be able to achieve get this great job at a top tech firm?
Yeah.
Like, those are all things
100%.
that are so new that people aren't really accustomed to.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe they're pushed to do that for completely different reasons than we think.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my gosh, your questions like are very deep for me. Like, I don't even know how to ask you about those, because those are like very huge picture. Like, what's in your mind, and like everything what you have been doing is very deep and like
It's like,
very
should I answer in 2 sentences?
Yeah. It's very different from what I had before. But you talk about augmenting human capability rather than replacing them. Exactly like the AI you talk about. What's the difference, and why does that distinction matter to you?
So, right. So, I think like the point of society is to bring everybody up and everyone to help each other, not to take as much as you can from other people and rise to the top. Like, I think that
Can you say that again for the audience? I think that's a good one.
I'm not sure.
Come on.
I'm not sure if I can repeat it. It's like, I think the point of society is for everyone to collaborate together, so everyone can rise up.
Yeah.
As opposed to take as much as you can from others, as much as you can, so that you can rise up to them. And I think that the pursuit to be a leader, to be a great person, to be a great man, is totally valid. I have that same pursuit. I want to be a legend, right? But I think that there's a big difference between wanting to be a legend based on your internal passions for how you want to create an impact, for how you want to like make everyone's lives better, as opposed to wanting to become a leader just so you can call yourself a leader. Like, I'm a leader. I'm a great man. Right? I think a lot of people and a lot of companies, they're willing to nowadays, like, for example, let's just say, replace all of their workers, do huge layoffs, replace with AI, just because they want to be a great company to satisfy their shareholders, to do this and that, which I totally understand. But I think there's other use cases for AI. And as someone who wants to contribute to AI research and the world, in a sense, like, I want to be contributing to something that, for example, creating home robotics that can help the elderly better than is possible now. Because maybe some elderly people can't afford a really high quality caretaker.
Yeah.
Engineers will still be in the loop for chip design, but I think that there's so much optimization that needs to be done for AI processors. And I feel that if engineers can work with AI models to really make like perfectly optimized chips for certain AI models, the power consumption will be reduced so much. Maybe those models can even be ran on some small processor that can fit in a robot or can fit on an edge device, as opposed to being massively in the data centers. And if that can be done, then these models can be like, even the biggest models can be cheap to run. And then they won't be hidden away in like behind a proprietary paywall. I don't know, like, that's kind of my take on it. That's like a surface level take.
100%. I see where you're going, and I think as a person who worked deeply with AI, you have this kind of perspective is very unique.
Really?
That I think most of the people, they are just like seeing a lot of, like, you can see out of the box, like, what if we put an entire processor or entire AI like data center in the robots instead of having a massive, like, I think it's doable. Every time when something actually happened in reality, it always already happened in the movie, right? A lot of like technologies.
Yeah, like look at our phones. Look at the cameras we're using.
Yeah, exactly. Those little devices.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, yeah. So like, I think having dreamer or thinker or whatever you name it, thinking outside of what traditional framework is very important, because that I think that's, by the end of the day, it's also what AI cannot achieve, whereas like bringing that creativity and then design something completely
different. Really interesting concept. Concept, because it's like, I think more and more I see language models able to make these like great decisions, and like, man, there's a lot of examples I could dive into, but it would take too long. Like I work with AI every single day, like extensively.
Yeah.
I work with like Cloud Opus is like a good friend of mine.
Yeah, it's mine as well.
Yeah, right? And like I'll be in Cursor with him. I use Cursor mostly, and I'll create like a whole. For example, if I'm studying something, like I recently got referred to the CEO of this company called Modular AI.
Okay.
And Modular is a really interesting company.
Right.
And the CEO is like a legend of Silicon Valley. Like his name's Chris Lattner. He's amazing. During his master's and PhD, he created this thing called low-level virtual machine.
Okay.
Which is a huge thing. If you're a compiler, if you're interested at all in compilers, LLVM is like such a huge thing. And he also worked at Apple, and actually created this language called Swift.
Yeah.
And Swift is like
it's an Apple, right?
Language.
Yeah.
And he then was like working at Google. He was he kind of, I think he led the compiler team that when the first TPU was launched.
Really?
Yeah. And then he was at Tesla too. I think he was high up, at least in the either autopilot or hardware department. I can't remember. Sorry,
No, it's fine.
Remembering is fuzzy about his Tesla experience. But now he started this new company, and they're making this new framework and new language as kind of a competitor against CUDA. So the language is a competitor against CUDA, and the framework is a competitor against like TensorFlow, PyTorch, JAX. I don't know if you've heard of these.
Yeah.
And so I was working with AI this past week to create like a full curriculum for myself of how am I going to learn these tools, because I want to go in the interview with them and be like, blow them away. Like, hey guys, like I know how your thing works, and here's what I can contribute, kind of thing. We have millions of years of evolution, where we learned so much before we're even born, right? Like we learn we know how to learn. We know how to like recognize our dad and our mom. LLMs, they have that as well, but only in their pre-training, right? I think like after they're born, so to speak, is like their fine-tuning stage.
Yeah.
The post-training. And I feel like I have the ability to spend my whole life becoming an expert at one small thing or some small things and learn the patterns there. I think it's more difficult for LLMs to reach that expert level because they're constantly approximating things between each other. I feel like there's something, I'm not sure, but I feel like there's something intuitively different about human learning than what's currently being done with AI. I'm not quite sure what it is yet.
100%. I see that. Or like it's not even that deep when you're trying to find the answer between what's the point of, like, let's say coming to the school to learn and just like homeschool and using ChatGPT as your mentor to learn everything. I think the biggest difference simply is that, with the knowledge on yourself versus like gaining all this knowledge from AI or stuff like that, it's like the knowledge that you really understand and you really absorb, the emphasis or like the power is different, right? Like I could easily, let's say that I could tell ChatGPT how do I host a podcast?
Yeah, right. And you could have it say, okay, when I ask this question, what's possible for him to say?
Yeah.
He could say this. Okay, let me write all the answers to that and memorize.
Exactly. Right? I could ask like, what should I ask my guest? How do I set a camera? Everything. But like not until you actually host the thing or like actually take the action, take the execution of doing that, you never know that what you're going to encounter. And I think the most valuable part is where you start doing and then you learn so much throughout the process.
Right.
And that's where like your knowledge kind of reinforced through your experience of like failure. And then that feedback loop just like getting you better. That might be your answer.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's relevant.
It's pretty funny. And like,
let's move on to the next questions. Before neural networks, you were a competitive tennis player and a classical pianist trained in Russian method. Take me back. How does someone go from playing, oh my gosh, I couldn't pronounce this, Rachmaninoff to designing brand-inspired chips? You actually play piano?
Yeah.
I know you for like 2 years. I didn't know you play pianos.
One day I can play something for you.
You know Sean play piano?
Really?
Yeah, Sean play piano too.
How long?
I don't know, for 10 years, bro. He's Asian, bro.
That's all I'm half Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Bro, me and Sean could do a like
duo.
We could do a duo. Man, we could
Bumblebee.
Yeah. I used to be able to play that when I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
That was my biggest flex, bro.
Yeah.
I was like 12. I was like little kid.
Can you still do it?
I can't play Flight of the Bumblebee. I can learn it. I could relearn
it.
Like, I have
pretty fast, right? Probably.
Yeah. I have like 8 songs that I know how to play.
Okay.
Like I can play.
Are you still constantly practicing? No.
It's too much to do. But it's a lifelong skill that I'll be able to do. And one thing that I really love about piano that I didn't realize when I was a younger kid is that it's like an ancient art. It's like a really ancient tradition. And I feel really good that I can carry that on.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But I think what classical piano taught me, okay, let me put it this way. Like, classical music to me is so interesting. It's like the best of the best of the best composers in the world at that time, right? Would be commissioned by some king to write some music. Like, we're gonna have, like, the king will say, okay, we're gonna have this crazy fucking party. Like, we're gonna have this awesome party where there's gonna be everyone dancing. I need you to write a like concerto for this particular event or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And one of the greatest minds of that time in the music like stage, right? Will work for like 1 year to write this piece of music.
Yes.
Right? It's like the pinnacle of what a human can do, almost. Like, to me, as I'm playing this music, it's so intelligently crafted. It shows me like this is what is possible, and that kind of ignited my sense of creativity, I think, as a kid. It's like, wow, I can't believe that someone can really create something this complex, right? And most of them are composed by one person. So, and each different composer has such a unique take on it, and yet they take forms, they take techniques that are used for hundreds of years and put their own twist on it, put their own take on it. That shows them who they are as a person. Like, for example, this composer Chopin was known to be like such a ladies' man. Chopin, yeah, he's just such a ladies' man. You can see it in his music. It's so romantic. And like Rachmaninoff, he's like, he has some dark fire burning. Like, you can see it comes out through him. And so, apparently his hands, Rachmaninoff's hands, were like huge.
Yeah, the 8 what?
12. He can reach 12 keys.
Holy shit.
I can reach 10. He can reach 12. It's like a bear. And yet he's so, you can see it's so heavy sometimes, yet so gentle. And so it's like, it shows me how to communicate without just using language, right? It shows me how to communicate using emotion, how to tell a story using more than just words, right? Anyways.
How does that going from like...
Oh, and how does that go to...
Yeah, so go to the brain design chips.
I think it kind of showed me, like, if I want to study something, if I want to become an expert, I need to have a certain level of mastery and not be satisfied with just the surface level.
That's why you're always looking for something deep.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And like, I know what people are capable of because I've played this music that is like blows my mind to even play it. Like, I know what people are capable of. I know what can be done, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a very
I think
interesting.
that the reason I came from neural networks is not directly from music. What drew me to neural networks is having a fascination for how life is even possible. Like, what is going on here? Like, how is any of this possible? I want to understand more about my brain. I want to learn how to model pieces of my brain, or learn how to, create some model that I can then study. And from then, I started studying neural networks more deeply, and then I became more interested in it for more reasons than just to model it, right? Like, now we have language models that aren't necessarily exact models of our brain, but yet they're so interesting. And they have so many beautiful capabilities. So now there's other things that are more interesting. One more thing actually I want to add about music, which is one more thing, is like, I think music is a way for people to express their unique perspective that they've gained over like their whole life. Like, you know, sometimes you might hear a song called like Spring Morning or something like that. This is completely hypothetical, like Spring Morning. And you'll hear their interpretation of what they feel on a spring morning. And it's like, you're right, the world is beautiful. And it makes me realize, like, I want to live, I want to have a beautiful life. That's another thing about music.
That's so interesting. I personally play saxophone too, but I never have that more deeper connection. Maybe like I never really mastered it.
I started it when I was 6 years old, bro.
Okay, that's
like,
no.
I started piano when I was 6.
Yeah, you deeply connected with the instrument, or like the music, the score, everything. Yeah. But you know, tennis. You play tennis as well, right? Tennis is called physical chess. Instant feedback, constant adjustment. That sounds like a back propagation. Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you see that connection at the time, or only in retrospect?
Yeah, that's super interesting. I found tennis was really, actually it's really interesting. It's really rewarding because it is kind of strategic in that sense, but it's also like, it's a release. It's a form of like, you can, like in I played baseball before tennis, right? And in baseball, you have to play in a team. You have to wait in line before you get a few shots at hitting the ball. And it's really satisfying hitting the ball. But in tennis, it's like that, but constantly. And it's like really good. It's like a good way to bond with like the people you play with. And also teaches you like structure of how to practice something. I can't say I saw a connection between back propagation and tennis. That's why I started playing tennis.
Okay.
But from a reinforcement learning perspective, I believe that it was a good, it may have been a good exploration through state space that allowed me to learn non-trivial non-trivial patterns that rewarded me later.
Okay. So before you start building artificial neural network, you spent 5 months in the Chen lab studying biological ones, how children learn and how brain represent concept, neuroplasticity. What did the real brain teach you that PyTorch never did?
I think that the real brain is so interesting. The real brain is inherently spike-based. The real brain doesn't have any layered, it has cortical columns. It has like layered structures in a sense, but not in the sense of like a feed-forward network. Do you have, well, anyways, like the neural networks that dominate right now are a combination of certain really interesting techniques combined with a very traditional technique, which is called just feed-forward layers, fully connected layers, multi-layer perceptron, right? Directed graph. I don't know. You can say it so many ways. I guess that's a looser, that's not quite tight enough to describe that. But the way that we build neural networks in PyTorch is specifically because that layered structure is very good at being accelerated by GPUs. That's the reason. At first, it was because, it's very easy to represent. This is a very high-level abstraction. It doesn't, like the scientists who created the first artificial neural networks, they knew this is not how the brain works. But it's the very first thing that shows, can a computer learn something using methods that are inspired by brains, right? But now, like massive transformers, if you really look in at the lower level, it's all just tensor. You'll hear the word tensor, 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 matrix, 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 right? Vector, vector, vector. That's all because GPUs are very powerful at processing vectors. So all the deep learning right now is like, how can we represent something as a vector?
Okay.
But the brain is inherently very different. It's spike-driven. It's pathway-based, which is kind of like mixture of experts in a sense. I mean, but also it's experience based. Like I could go. There's a lot I could.
Yeah, yeah. I like the way you simplify
It's also
everything down.
emotion-based. It's
Yeah,
feeling based.
yeah.
It's like the way you feel can completely change the pathways that fire.
Mhm.
Almost like a router of anyways.
Interesting. I like the way you kind of simplify everything in a very low level.
Yeah, I tried to.
Because neural network itself, it's just a very complex topic.
Actually, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, yeah, like the it does take a long time to learn, and like there are a lot of like niche, like little techniques you should learn, but the very fundamental aspect of like the bare basics of how it works, anyone can learn.
Mm-hmm. It's if like anyone listening to this podcast, what's a good start if they are trying to pursue something similar?
I think that if you want to learn the basics of machine learning, if you want to learn the basics of machine learning, you should. Oh yeah, the camera's down. If you want to learn the basics, I think a lot of people will tell you need to start with linear algebra. You need to start with multivariable calculus. You need to start with probability and statistics. I have a very different take. I think you should start with the higher level, and then when you are curious, when you have questions, that's when you dive deep to the lower level. I think that it's important to understand the very basics of linear algebra, like what is a matrix, what is a vector, why would you even want to represent these objects as in that way? How do you optimize a function? What is a function? Why is function approximation so important? Those are questions that are that calculus teaches you, and the answer is functions describe our world. That's a big piece of information.
That's from a very high level perspective, telling our general audience where to start.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about when you're going on this path of like exploring something really deep, which is most of the people might not be able to. At some point, do you feel there is something that you would not be able to do and something that nearly broke you, and why?
Wow. I think that what nearly broke me was was the reason I took my gap year, is because my math foundation was not deep enough.
Okay.
And I still can't say that I haven't taken any analysis courses. I'm not a mathematician by any means, but I'll learn that probably later on. But for now, it's I was trying to understand some deeper concepts, trying to read some papers, and I just couldn't understand. There's no way. And I realized if I'm actually going to take this seriously, I need to strengthen my math background.
Aren't your math good? I thought your math is good.
I feel like now it's a lot better.
A lot better.
But before it was pretty bad.
Okay.
Because I was like smart enough to just not really try throughout high school.
So you feel like that's your biggest regret of not being able to?
That's a huge regret of mine.
Okay.
Huge regret.
Do you ever feel so isolating when like you're pursuing something really deep like this?
I don't feel isolated at all. I feel much more connected. Actually, it's interesting. When Sean was inviting me to chocolate, he asked me the exact same question. He said, "Do you feel isolated?" I said, "I don't, because it helps me make friends with people that like to go deep in things in their own way. And when I become connected with those people, like you are trying to go deep into like connecting people, like putting yourself in, like connecting like people on the internet together as well, and how to create content that people love. Like even like you have a really interesting story as well. And when I talk to you, I feel like connected because of that. Right? I feel like all my friends, they're all deeply interested in something. And I feel a huge, deep connection to that, to not only the people in my circle, but also the people I don't know yet.
100% agree with you with that. Like, no matter what you do, as long as you have the passion and curiosity of exploring something you are truly interested in, that's like make your overall personality and like everything you've done. Like, it's the story of you is all coming from what you are interested in, right? And that gonna make a difference, and the connection level is different too. And I really enjoy being around with you guys with Chalkboard. By the way, Chalkboard is a group of like, friends, and we come together as a group of like entrepreneur people, and we each of us like interesting in different perspective, different field, and that makes this group really unique that it's very diverse, and we once in a while we came together for a productive conversation.
Yeah, I do want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
I guess you asked me about like, what did learning something about biological brains teach me about artificial and the differences between artificial ones and biological ones. I'd say a huge difference is hardware. And I think that's a pretty big bottleneck right now.
Okay.
And I guess that's, if for people who are interested, they can look more into that.
I think I saw a news that they're saying that this year gonna be hardware like boom, right?
Could be, yeah.
The robotics.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You say you want to make this world a more habitable environment for all life and give people hope for our future as a species. That's a big statement, actually. That's a really big statement. What does that actually look like, and what's the future you're building?
I think that the times I felt most human are the times where I feel most inspired. And I want to make people feel like life is worth living. I want to make people feel like, they can contribute, they can make the world a better place. Not in like a niche, not like a cliche way, but it's like sunshine and rainbows everywhere. Because there's actually like horrible things going on in the world. And I'm not saying that, just ignore them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, if people aren't inspired, if people don't have a reason for living and don't feel that like they don't have that lust for life, they won't want to contribute to anything. They won't want to be making anyone else's life better. They won't be wanting to make their own life better. And that makes you easily manipulated. That makes you easily controlled.
What actually inspires you?
Wow. What inspires me right now, a big one, is wanting to create the most beautiful life possible for myself, and also creating the most beautiful life possible for the ones I love. And if I can do that, and this is just at the most basic level, right? There's more that I could talk about, but this is like the most fundamental. It's like, I want to be able to, what inspires me? Wow.
What? Yeah. So
there's many different things. Like, it's so hard to answer. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I feel like when you say like things that inspire you, and you say like you have this kind of vision where things that you really want to, you have a sense of yourself, maybe in 10 years, in 20 years, you see that vision and really inspire yourself, which is really interesting when you see yourself and you got inspired by yourself. But wouldn't you say that it's more on like self-discipline and, you need to have that discipline more than just like getting inspired?
But I feel like if you don't have that inspiration, the discipline feels like
mundane,
self-torture. It feels like it feels like self-captivity. It feels like that your determination and your discipline is just chains sometimes.
Okay.
Right. That's my personal opinion.
That's interesting take.
Inspiration is the necessary key for a happy life, for me personally. But I do want to think more about what inspires me, how I can just explain that. Because like almost like when I look up at the sun, when I look up at the blue sky, that inspires me even. But that's a shitty answer to your question. Like, yeah, sorry. And when I think about my future, like career, that inspires me. When I think about music, that inspires me. When I think about the people that I love, that inspires me. But that's not a very good answer to the question. So I'll think about it more.
Okay. Before we continue, I have a question passed from our previous guest, Philip Orp. He asked about if you could trying to imagine what, it's not in a like mundane way, but trying to imagine how AI in 100 years, in 50 years, how do you think this AI thing is going to take our society, our human being?
Oh my God.
What's going to take us?
Let's say AI capability completely caps off. Let's say it turns out language models, this is completely hypothetical, that language models do not increase in capability. There will still be massive ripples across its society, I guarantee. If, let's say, Claude Opus 4.5 is the smartest model that's ever created, it will still be automating a ton of jobs. Like, it's kind of scary. I think that's one of the things. So at the worst, I don't know if you consider it best or worst case, but if AI never improves more, let's call that the worst case. I still think the world will change massively.
So do you personally?
But in terms of, so that's how the world could change.
Yeah.
But in terms of how the technology could change, oh my God, I have no idea.
You have no idea. Come on, you gotta answer this one.
Let's take. There's a saying that I really love. Like, it took. I'm not sure if this is true, so don't fact check me on it. Don't say I'm stupid because of this. But I think at least it took longer for us to transition from iron swords, raw iron, to steel swords.
Okay.
Then from steel swords to nuclear bombs.
Okay.
Right. That's like the progression that humanity takes. In just the past 100 years, we have seen the rise of the computer. And in the last 10 years, we've seen the computers forming their own form of intelligence, whether that's real intelligence or. Right? What about the next 100 years? I'm not built for this shit. I'm not built to predict.
I'll leave this one.
I think, you can leave it to someone else.
Yeah,
I think my job is not to predict that. It's to grow enough as a person to where I will be able to handle whatever happens.
Okay. So.
And adapt.
Yeah. I'll leave this one to someone else since you really this one is really good.
Let's say my goal of creating, basically being able to vibe code chips.
What?
Let's say my goal of being able to basically vibe code chips, AI
vibe code AI chips.
Why not?
That would be crazy. It's almost feel like everyone can design your own chips.
Yeah, I mean, fabrication is a huge issue, but not everyone needs TSMC. Maybe you can use. Maybe if you have an insanely highly optimized chip, maybe you can deal with larger transistors. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's say you can do that. Well, then everyone will be designing their own. Then that will make AI progress so different, right? That'll make everything change. But we'll see.
So this is your answer for the 100-year vision. Yeah.
Pass on to the next one.
No, this one is actually good.
Pass it. What about next?
Double.
Yeah.
For the next guest. Yeah. So. Before we close, I ask every guest this: if you could leave one question for the next guest, someone else navigating AI and humanity, what would you want to ask them?
So what do you think the next 200 years of nothing?
Come on.
Wow. I guess I'd ask them, what do they think about creating AI that augments or contributes and improves human capability as opposed to replaces it? What do they think about that, and do they care about that? Do they?
So you're building on my questions to ask them.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So the last questions is our signature question for this podcast. As AI become more present in our life and work, where do you feel being human still matter most?
I think we talked about this a bit.
Yeah.
I think becoming an expert.
Becoming an expert is where humans still have a major lead. Become an expert in anything you're interested in.
Yeah. If you're interested in something, learn it so deeply that if anyone asks you, how does it work, you can teach a course on it.
Well, the goal is not necessarily to teach a course, but if you have the knowledge and expertise, you just immediately gonna become, The
reason I say teach a course is because you want to be able to lay out the high level steps of how, the skeleton of how your interest works, and then fill in each little detail. You should be able to dive deep into it and be able to understand the intricacies of it. AI is very, very smart, but sometimes those little intricacies, it'll the AI will get it tangled, man. I see it.
Yeah.
I talk to the smartest models. I talk to all of them.
Yeah.
And it's they're incredibly smart. They're smarter than 95% of people I've ever met. They're smarter than me at 95% of things.
Yeah.
But becoming an expert is where you still have a chance.
Okay. That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
And it's
because of the function approximation.
That's an amazing discussion here. Everything you share so far is entirely new to me, and like I'm trying to absorb everything as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only a lot for my audience, it's also a lot for me. Like you talk something really deep, and I think that's really good because people might not necessarily understand those information, not through like a formal lecture or a thing like that, but like through a student that is still learning and then being able to communicate that,
Right.
trying to explain everything like that. It's very impressive.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Also, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit more about like how to learn machine learning. I think read the most important papers. Like you can talk to ChatGPT, like what are the most important AI papers in the field I'm interested in? Like for me, it's reinforcement learning. Like what are the most important papers? Read those and understand it from like a historical perspective. Why did these researchers need to make this advancement?
Historical perspective.
Yeah, history. Like how did they even, why was this important? Why did this change? Why was it cited so many times? Why did so much build off from that? And yeah, try to just read papers, understand the papers from a philosophical, historical, and technical perspective. And just casual, from like chill, like you can just talk about it. You can just understand how you can contribute as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, like, thank you for being on this podcast again. If the audience want to know what you're doing and like, want to connect with you, where can they find your work and connect with you?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I have a GitHub. It's called like Will for Eternity or something like that. It's kind of weird. I just don't want to change it. And LinkedIn, just William Norden. And then
Amazing.
yeah. Or you can ask
100%.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I totally ask me. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on my conversation with William Norden. The thing that's still sitting with me, and I hope it's sitting with you too, is the idea that becoming an expert is where humans still have a real lead. William put it simply, if someone asks you how something works, you should be able to teach them a course on it, not because teaching is the goal, but because that depth of understanding is proof that the knowledge is actually yours. We're in the moments where AI can approximate almost anything. It's smarter than most of us at most things. William said that himself. But there's a difference between a model that approximates patterns across billions of data points and a person who has spent years getting something wrong. Understanding why it was wrong and building it back up from nothing, that feedback loop, failure, correction, depth, that's still human. I think the real question this episode leaves me with is, in a world where speed and breadth are so easy to fake, are you actually going deep on anything, or are you just moving fast? If this episode make you think, share it with someone who's navigating the same question. You can find Still Human on Spotify, YouTube, and Substack. And if you want to follow William's work, he's on GitHub as Will for Eternity and on LinkedIn as William Norden. See you in the next one. Peace.